All right, let's dive right into it. Lesson learned. Your schedule is a values document. So golf balls first, coffee too. A professor stood before his philosophy class with a few items laid out in front of him. When the class began, he didn't say much. He silently picked up a very large empty jar and began filling it with golf balls, one by one, until the jar couldn't take another. Then he looked up and he asked the class, "Is the jar full?" The students agreed it was. The professor nodded. Then he picked up a bag of pebbles and carefully poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly, and the pebbles rolled around into the empty spaces between the golf balls. He looked up again. He said, "Is the jar full now?" The students agreed it was. Next, the professor picked up a bag of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled everything else. He asked once more, "Is the jar full?" This time, the class responded with unanimous, "Yes." The professor paused. Then he reached under the table and revealed 2 cups of coffee. He poured them into the jar, effectively filling all of the empty spaces between the sand. The students laughed. And when the laughter subsided, the professor said, "Now, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things: your family, your children, your health, your friends, and your favorite passions. And if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter: your job, your house, your car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff." Then he delivered the part most people don't want to hear. If you put the sand into the jar first, there's no room for the golf balls or pebbles. The same is true in your life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you. He looked out at the class. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with your children. Take time to get medical checkups and take your spouse out for dinner. There will always be time to clean the house and fix the garbage disposal. Take care of the golf balls first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just sand. One of the students raised their hand and asked, "Well, what does the coffee represent?" The professor smiled. "I'm glad you asked. It just goes to show you that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a couple cups of coffee with a friend." That line always lands for me, because it's not just telling you to prioritize, it's telling you what kind of person you become when you do. So I tried to fix the sand while my body was begging for golf balls. I felt the sand creep the moment I got back from New Jersey for vacation. The house was spotless when we left, because that's kind of how I am. I like order and I need it. A clean space gives my nervous system a clean signal, but real life doesn't care about what you cleaned before you left. It starts pouring in the second you return. Clothes, groceries, training schedule, sleep getting just weird based off the 3-hour time zone difference, work stacking up like it's personally offended that you went on a trip. A couple days in, I told myself I had golf balls back in place. We're good, back to normal. Handle what matters first. And then grief showed up mid-dinner. My best friend called while I was eating with my wife. I ignored the first call, not because I didn't care, because I was trying to be present with my wife, because I was off my phone, and because I'm a disciplined guy now. Then he called again. The second ring, well, I knew something wasn't right. I answered and said, "Hey, everything all right?" He said, "I'm sorry to say, my grandfather had passed away today." And just like that, the room changed. His grandfather survived Nazi-occupied France. And because he was French and my wife is French, there were so many strange similarities between their lives that every time I spent time with him, I felt closer. Not just to him, but to a kind of resilience you don't really learn from a podcast. The kind you feel in someone's presence. After the funeral, I came home and felt something creeping in. At first, I told myself it was probably just sadness. So the next morning, I wanted to keep my, quote, constants. I trained. Because training is one of my golf balls. Except this time, training wasn't a golf ball. It was a strategy. Might be a way to keep moving, maybe to distract myself or refrain from the heavy emotions the day prior, or just discipline. And a few days later, it became obvious. I wasn't emotionally heavy. I was sick with a sinus infection or a man flu or whatever you want to call it. And that's when the jar story stopped being a metaphor and became really a mirror. Because I looked around and realized the house was becoming a mess. Not a disaster, but a little out of order. And if you even have a light case of OCD and cleanliness like I do, out of order is quite loud. So I did what stressed people do when they want control without saying they want control. I focused on the sand. I straightened up the house. Counters, clothes, bags, little piles of life that were starting to spread. And I felt a relief. Not because everything was magically better, because the environment finally stopped yelling at my nervous system. But the moment the house was clean, the truth was still there waiting for me. I felt worse physically, and the email still needed to get answered, and the calls still needed to get done, and the work was still there. I had just spent the remaining energy I had organizing sand, while ignoring the golf ball that mattered most, which was my health. They say you have a million problems, but when you're sick, you only have one, and that is true. And I was acting like the mess was the problem when it wasn't. The mess was sand. My body was the golf ball. My body was the stone. Every week, paid members receive the Mettle weekly training plan, a complete 7-day layout, real-world adjustments for busy weeks and injury comebacks, and one mindset focus to anchor your training. The free memo is where I share the lessons. The paid memo is where we turn it into your actual week. Tip this week: contain the sand. The jar reset for real weeks. It takes about 20 minutes. This isn't for perfect weeks. This is for travel weeks, grief weeks, sick weeks, nervous system on fire weeks. Number 1, you choose 3 golf balls for the next 7 days. Not goals, but actions. And if you're sick, your number 1 golf ball is health. Examples: sleep like medicine. Be in bed by blank. Training adjusted to recovery. So 2 to 3 easy sessions and turn your ego off. 1 deep work block on the real asset, so that's like journaling or meditation or prayer, and 1 relationship, quote, golf ball. So that's dinner with your friends or your wife or husband, walk, and a call. And 1 environment reset, 20 minutes and then stop. Number 2, schedule the golf balls first. Day, time, and duration. If it isn't scheduled, it isn't a golf ball, it's intention. Number 3, contain the sand. Sand will always exist. The move is containment. So you pick one. Do an email timer for maybe 30 minutes to answer your emails. No phone until after your first golf ball. Or 1 house reset window. So 20 minutes to clean up and then done. Sand can live in your jar. It just can't run your life. 4, add the coffee on purpose. No matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for coffee. At the funeral, I asked my friend to share the best stories of his grandfather, what lessons he learned, what he's already adopted in his life, and what his grandfather has been really like moving through him. And that's coffee, presence. And this week, I also made time for another one of my best friends, someone who I haven't really spent quality time with in quite a while. I invited him over for dinner, and I cooked a really good Mediterranean feast, not because it was efficient, but because it was human, and I wanted real connection, just him and I, because discipline without connection becomes another kind of sickness. So a line to remember: your schedule is a values document. If health isn't protected, nothing else is real. And the prompt for you: what are your 3 golf balls for the next 7 days? And who's your coffee? 1 person you're making time for on purpose. Part 3, what I am eating. Below are some pictures and macros of food I enjoyed cooking or eating from this past week. Number 1, it's cod, white rice, tomatoes, and capers with olive oil. You could actually cook this all in 1 pan in the oven. Approximate calories, 459. Protein, 32 grams. Fat, 13 grams. And net carbs, 48. Next was clearly what I ate when I was sick. So it's bone broth with chicken and sourdough toast. Calories, 455. Protein, 55 grams thanks to the homemade bone broth and chicken. Fat, 9 grams. And net carbs, 35 grams. And lastly, we have bison, 2 eggs, roasted Japanese sweet potatoes, and kiwi. So it was an incredible lunch, actually. Calories, 427. Protein, 28. fat 16 grams, and net carbs 39 grams. Part 4, how I am currently training. So London Marathon training has started about a couple weeks ago, and this is my weekly breakdown. Monday, complete full rest day, sauna and cold plunge only. Tuesday, we run 10K, and then we strength train upper body strength. Wednesday, we run 5K, very easy, shake out the legs, strength train, leg strength day, and run specific strength training. Thursday, we run marathon pace repeats interval training. So this is done around the track. And then strength training, upper body strength. Friday, strength training, lower day with emphasis on the posterior chain with a nice easy cardio after. So like zone 2 on the rower, the bike, or the elliptical. Saturday, we have a 10K easy run. And then Sunday, we have our long runs. So this is 15 miles with race pace intervals. So that's 5 times 2 kilometers at marathon pace. Right now, total running miles, we're about 38, 39 miles, and total strength time is about 4-ish hours. Lifting, check out the Mettle weekly training program will be the go-to everyday training broken into 4 6-week segments. This will be provided weekly to everyone who's a paid subscriber to the Mettle Club Substack, and the program focuses on gaining muscle via progressive overload over 4 to 6 weeks with cardio sessions incorporated and some spicy workouts to keep it interesting, i.e. circuits. So check it out. Check out other programs, and if you want a structured plan outside of the weekly Substack, I have the 12-week hybrid athlete training program and strength and aesthetics. Use code MEMO for 20% off. Also, if you want to check out the supplements I'm taking, it's through Transparent Labs. Use my code Winarick and you get 20% off. Or check out Ketones, which is the secret hack to curb your appetite and to feel full longer and train harder. That's it for Mettle Memo number 44. Happy training.